Hi students, today we're going to start looking at doing our first furniture, and so essentially we've got this grey couch. Now this is the photo that you can see just here, so this is our reference. And so the main thing to do when you're looking at a piece of furniture is thinking about where the light source is coming from. So what I've done here on this drawing, so this is one that I finished earlier and I've used cool greys for this particular drawing, is if you draw a cube like so, and in our case the light source is coming from the top, then all of the surfaces where the light hits are going to show as our highlight areas. There's always going to be a dark tone, and so this is the area that is furthest away from the light. So in our case it's the back of the couch and the front here. So those are all showing, these areas here all show as that dark tone. And then there's always a mid-tone or a half-tone, and it's on this side. So this side of the couch is going to be our half-tone area. So that's the main thing to do with a piece of furniture, to give it that three-dimensional view, is to always think about using your tones. So that's why we're starting with our greys, and we've just got a couch that's neutral. So I'm just going to put that to one side, and this I've done a little bit of prep work on just so that I can speed things up for you. So essentially I've got grey tones here that are warm. So for those of you that have got your warm grey markers, I've got warm grey 2, which is a Copic, is equivalent to warm grey 1 and the Pro marker, because some of these are different depending on the brand. So this one here is essentially the lightest colour, and so this here I'm going to leave the tops white, so anything that's basically highlight, at the moment I've left it as the plain white paper. So this here I've started. I'm just going to turn it around to finish this off. So basically this is going to be that lightest colour, and you can see how it's different when it's wet and it's dry. So with this arm, it's slightly more shaded on the bottom, so treat this like it's watercolour, and you can just layer up and just put a little bit more, just put another layer on top just to give that a slightly darker effect. So we'll leave that there for now. And as you can see, this part of this cushion, or this arm here, needs to be the same colour as I've used here. So for that one we're going to go to a warm grey 2, and of course I should do the edges first with a finer tip. These markers definitely bleed more on this photocopied bond paper that we're using than they do when they're on Zeta. So there we have, so this colour and this essentially are all the same, and I'm just going to put a little bit more onto the front of that couch. So that's that, and then the back here I'm just going to take a softly approach with that. So I'm going to start by just using that warm grey 1, in this case it's Copic warm grey 2, and I'm just going to put in the undercolour first. I'm just going to leave the top just with this little bit of white showing. The main reason I want to do that is that I just want this to be quite subtle, this graduating line, and so if I put it in wet on wet, it's more chance that I'm going to get that. So I've just used that first one, and now I'm going to try and put in the dark colour, but because I'm going on top of the wet colour underneath, hopefully those two colours will blend blend together a little bit better. If I was to do this over top of the dry colour underneath, I wouldn't get quite the same effect. Okay, so there we have, we're getting that shading on that back cushion, and I just want to darken up the bottom a little bit more, so I'm going to put another layer, because towards the bottom of the couch it's darker than it is at the top. So again, I can darken up just here if need be. Okay, so now we've got our tones all working, and you can see that these cushions, if you have a look here, these are quite dark. Now, I don't have Warm Grey 4 at the moment, so I've been using this very dark Warm 10, which is one of the Copic markers. This is probably a little bit too dark, but it's what I've got to work with. So I'm going to use Warm Grey 3 on this cushion. So I've already put some on, but I'm just going to put a little bit more on top because I want to be able to blend this in when I put the black over it. So and we're going to leave some of it showing at the top. Again, we just want to blend that slightly. This is just me putting additional layers on. And then in here, under this cushion, obviously there's quite a deep shadow. So I'm going to lay that in, just put my very dark marker. I'll put some dark shadow in there. And this cushion is going to have, so it's a bit darker through here. And you can see that I've already started to add in these little creases. So that's, you tend to get that on a cushion where you've got the fabric. So we're just going to add that in there for now. So I'm not going to finish that just at the moment. I'll just want to finish off down over here. So this is another really important thing when you're doing your sketching, is that we anchor the objects to the floor with a shadow line. So essentially I've done it on this side, and on here also. So here I'm just using Warm Grey 3, and then right underneath closest, and here I'm going to actually use our Warm Grey 10. So this is quite dark. If you've got a slightly lighter grey, it might be better, but this will be okay. So essentially that is that line that you see when you've got no light under the couch. And these here in the photo actually look like stainless steel, but we'll just give them a little bit of a tweak of grey. So I think that's as much as I need to do for now. I mean, I could keep tweaking if I wanted to. You know, I could just put in a little bit more in some of these areas. But essentially that is the couch. If you want to, you could use Brick White E40. So we could use this here if we want to just darken up the top of the couch. So this is a very light grey. This is almost the lightest grey we have available to us. So we could do that as well. but you'll see that again it's still the lightest tone. So that's all for today.